Hey tubers, and welcome back. Today on the bench we have this Craftsman 16-inch 36cc chainsaw back. The problem with it today is that when you press the primer bulb, it's not filling with gas. When we look into the tank, you see that when we press the bulb, the return line's pumping air back into the tank, but it's not sucking any gas out. More than likely, the fuel line going to the bulb is either broken or just deteriorated. The fuel lines in the saw are the original lines. They've never been changed. So today, we're going to drain this tank, take off this cover, get to the fuel lines, and we'll even change the filter that's in here. For now, I'm going off camera to take this apart. To get this out, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 5 Torx screws that have to be removed. I'm going to have to take this top cover off to get to it. I'm going off camera now to remove the cover, and I'll be back as soon as I'm done. When looking at the line, it doesn't appear to have any cracks in it, but I guess we won't know what's going on until we pull this out. Somewhere in there's a leak. Now I started taking this apart. Here's an update. When I dumped the gas out, this fuel filter came out with the gas. See right on the tip over here, the hose is broken off. Now looking into the tank with a flashlight, the hose looks like it's okay. When I go to blow through this filter, I have a hard time getting air going through it. So it just may have well been that this filter was clogged and the hose breaking off. Well, like I said, this hose is old. What I'm going to try and do is get that gas line into the gas and see if it does anything at all before I start ripping everything apart. Okay guys, I don't know if you can see this. I put a little bit of gas in this cap just to see if there was any suction or anything happening with this primer bulb and gas line. Now you can hear it blowing out on the return, but it's not sucking. So I'm going to be pulling this gas line out, measuring it up for a new line, and popping that new line in. As soon as I have everything in place, I'll be back. Once we have the cover off, we have to take the air filter out to get to the carburetor. First we have to take this plastic housing off. We have to get the air filter itself out. You can see this can use a cleaning. To get this out, we have this Torx screw in here. By the way, the Torx screw on the cover and this one over here is a T25. And then we have these 2 nuts holding the air filter bracket in. Here, and they're 8mm. Now I'm going to get this off to get to the carburetor. As soon as I have this off, we'll be back. If you had to change a spark plug, now would be a good time to put a new one in. Okay, when I pulled this carburetor off, this hose is pretty brittle. Again, I don't see any cracks in it, but when I went to pull it out, the hose did snap. And to get the hose in, I have this on another video also, you want to slice the tip of it and make it a little bit of a point. I don't know how clear this is coming in. This is so you can get it through that hole, pull it through. This hose is a little on the short side. It will just about work. I may have to take this apart again, but it's the only length of hose I have of this diameter. I used the rest of it up. I thought I had a little bit more. I'm not going to have that on camera. I did this once before. Once I have this connected, I'll be back on camera. When I come back, I'll have the carburetor mount. I'll show where all the hoses go. When trying to get this hose through the top, it's hard to pull just on the bottom part of it. To help it through, as you're pulling it down, you want to pull up at the same time. It stretches the hose out, it thins it out a little bit, and it gives you that little bit extra that you need to get it through. I also used a little bit of oil that you would mix in the gas to help lubricate it. This is just a little tip to help it get through, because these hoses are thicker than the hole it has to go through to keep it from leaking. Now this is just to show where these hoses go back. This is the hose that we replaced, coming out of the fuel tank. The fuel filter will be on this end of it over here. We have the primer bulb where it'll draw fuel through the carburetor. When pushing this primer bulb, it causes a vacuum on this side that draws fuel up from this side here. Fuel gets drawn through the carburetor, and the extra fuel goes back through this bottom hose back here, this thicker one. So now it's just a question of mounting this back together. We're putting this back together. We have these two 8mm nuts that hold the air filter bracket on. Remember guys, when tightening it up, you tighten it against plastic. You don't want to play Superman. And the torque screw that's in there is a T25, same as the cover. Same thing. Get it tight and just get a little snug. Now we have the air filter. We get that back in. This could use a new one. And we still have to get the fuel filter on. This is where with splice soaker squeeze through that hole. Want to square it off. Use a knife or pliers, whatever you have. And a new fuel filter. This is a new filter, just got a little dirty from my hands. And it fits really snug. As a matter of fact, this filter, the tip of it was a little too tight. And what I end up doing is just touching it up a little bit with a file so I could get it on there. And that's how she holds on. This hose was just about enough. I don't know if the camera can pick that up. There we go. You want to make sure your throttle's working before you get everything back together. If you got to change your spark plug, that'll be a good time to put one in. And get the side cover on. I'm going off camera to mix a fresh batch of gas up. Check your owner's manual. Well, most of these chainsaws, they'll tell you what the mix should be. This particular one, it's 40-to-1 on the mix. As soon as I tighten this down, I'll fill it with the fresh gas, and we'll see how she starts. Okay, here's what we're looking for. We weren't getting that gas through there before. Now we are. On this model it says to pump 6 times. Put it on full choke. Put it on full choke. Pull 5 times. Go half choke. And then pull the start. I found out that by not following these instructions, this unit either will not start or give a real difficult time to start. Okay, let's give it a shot. Well, that's a wrap. If you found this video useful or entertaining, give a thumbs up, pass it along, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe. Until next time, stay safe.